Ready for a deep dive? I mean, seriously deep.
We're talking Underworld deep.
Exactly. Dubnobasswithmyheadman. An album that, get this, almost didn't happen.
Can you imagine?
Not a world I want to live in. But it's more than just, oh, this iconic album existed. It's how it threw open the doors for electronic music to, like, really be something.
And you've given us all the good stuff to dig into, honestly.
Right. It's all here.
Wikipedia, Underworld, Trainspotting.
Born Slippy.
Exactly. Plus, we've got that article, the 20th anniversary one, super insightful. And, of course, no deep dive into Dubnobasswithmyheadman is complete without talking about Tomato.
The visual geniuses behind it all. The album art.
Absolutely. Okay, so picture this.
Right.
Early 90s, grunge is everywhere.
Flannel shirts, angst, the whole deal.
And here come Hyde and Smith. Fresh off a band breakup, drowning in debt.
Talk about a creative low.
Seriously. Creatively bankrupt, that's the phrase. They could have walked away, easily.
I mean, who could blame them?
But they didn't. Instead of calling it quits, they're like, we need something different, something new.
A creative outlet?
Yeah, but not about, chasing the charts.
Been there, done that.
Right, this was pure, raw, creative expression.
Okay, so what they do?
Hyde heads to the U.S., of all places.
The land of opportunity.
He's completely immersing himself in the music scene there. Working with Prince.
Wait, Prince?
Yeah, at Paisley Park.
Stop it.
And then he's off playing guitar for Debbie Harry in New York City.
Okay, this is like music legend bingo.
Right. Talk about a crash course in, pushing creative boundaries.
Seriously. So was this like a direct line to the sound of Dubnobasswithmyheadman? Did working with, Prince change everything?
It's hard to say definitively, but
Yeah.
you can feel that same energy, that fearlessness in the album.
That's true.
It wasn't just, sitting down writing a typical song. It was Hyde soaking up the city. Everything about it. Late nights, the anxieties, the pulse. It's all there in his lyrics. Almost stream of consciousness,
Like urban poetry turned music.
Yes. And those notebooks he carried everywhere, filled with all those raw observations.
Became the album.
The heart and soul of it.
So Hyde's off finding himself, essentially, in America. What's Smith up to back in the UK, holding down the fort?
You could say that. More like facing down their financial struggles.
Ugh. Not glamorous.
Not at all. Make or break time for him, really.
So what kept him going?
His wife, Tracy, she's the unsung hero in all of this.
Seriously?
He's the one who pushed him, told him to keep believing, even when it felt impossible.
Rock star wife. Okay, but they still need, the final member of the band, right?
The missing piece.
Enter Darren Emerson.
Cue the music. But seriously, Emerson changes everything. He's young, a DJ, completely plugged into the rave scene.
Which at the time is?
Exploding. This new energy, this fresh perspective, and he's bringing it all to Underworld.
So you've got Hyde's, lyrical poetry.
Yeah.
Smith's electronic experiments.
Don't forget those.
And Emerson's love of techno and house.
It's the perfect storm.
And where do they decide to create this groundbreaking album? Some swanky studio.
Nope.
Tell me it's not what I think it is.
Romford.
Romford. Hyde himself called it, what, a can-do spirit? It's like the opposite of a music mecca.
Proof that creativity can bloom anywhere.
So true. And the album art, I mean, come on. Stark, bold, in your face. It's perfect.
Totally captures the vibe of the music. Raw, powerful, and guess what?
What?
Tomato, the design gurus, Hyde and Smith, are part of this collective.
Right. Multi-talented.
They snuck in lyrics from Born Slippy.
No way. On the Dubnobasswithmyheadman art.
2 years before the song even came out. Talk about foreshadowing.
It's like a secret message. But speaking of Born Slippy.
The song that defined Trainspotting, even though it wasn't even on the original album.
Okay, we have to get into that. But first, let's rewind. How did they take those notebooks full of thoughts and turn them into, well, Underworld?
The recording process is a whole other story.
Okay, so we've got these notebooks, right? Packed with Hyde's experiences, these little slices of city life. How do they go from that to actual Underworld tracks?
It's not like your typical songwriting session. Not even close.
So not like verse, chorus, verse.
Forget about it. They were inventing their process as they went. Start with a beat, maybe a loop, or some weird sound they found.
Found sound, love that.
And then Hyde would just layer his words on top, like literally speaking them.
Wow, so it's about capturing a feeling, not just telling a straightforward story.
Precisely. They give the music space to breathe. No rules. It's how you get these massive soundscapes, these sonic landscapes you can get lost in. And the grooves. Don't even get me started on the grooves.
Hypnotic is the word. Skyscraper, I Love You is like, that completely sucks you in.
Right. And, that track, directly inspired by Hyde's walks through Greenwich Village.
Are you serious? That's amazing. I can hear it now, the pulse of the city. It's like the environment itself is an instrument.
Totally. And this is where their use of technology gets really interesting. I mean, they were sampling everything.
Everything. Give me an example.
Street sounds, snippets of conversation, even bits of TV shows. It's like they're weaving it all together.
A sonic tapestry.
Right. Building their experiences directly into the music.
Mind-blowing. And to think this is all happening in a little studio in Romford.
No kidding. But that's part of what makes it so special, that DIY spirit.
Totally. No fancy equipment, no big shot producers, just pure, unadulterated creativity.
Exactly. They weren't trying to fit in. They were just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And the result? Dubnobasswithmyheadman. An album that somehow managed to capture the spirit of the 90s.
While also sounding like it could have been released yesterday, it's timeless.
Completely agree. It still influences electronic musicians today. It's crazy.
It really is a testament to their innovation. I mean, they were using technology in a way that had never been done before. But for all the electronic elements, there's this real warmth to the music.
Right. It's not cold or robotic. It's human.
It's emotional. For me, listening to Dub No Bass with my headman is like, I don't know, it's like experiencing Hyde's thoughts. It's so personal.
And that's the beauty of his lyrics, right? They're cryptic, open to interpretation. But you feel them.
Totally. He's not afraid to be vulnerable, to talk about his struggles, his doubts, and I think that's what resonates with people. He's being real.
Absolutely. In a world that often feels very surface level, that authenticity is refreshing.
It's powerful, and you don't always get that with, more polished commercial music.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. Dubnobasswithmyheadman reminds us that it's okay to not be okay, that our flaws, our imperfections, that's what makes us human.
And that even in the darkest of times, even when you're feeling lost and uncertain, there's beauty to be found. Maybe that's the key to the album's enduring appeal. It's hopeful in a way.
I love that. It's a reminder that we're not alone in our struggles, and that even when things are tough, there's always light to be found.
It's a universal message, It transcends genre, time, language.
Music at its purest. It connects us. Dubnobasswithmyheadman is proof of that.
Speaking of connection, let's go back to the album art for a second. We talked about Tomato sneaking in those Born Slippy lyrics. What other visual cues did they use to, foreshadow the album's themes?
Well, the typography, for starters, bold, in your face.
Intense.
It's like this chaotic jumble of words, black and white, layered over each other, almost like a city wall plastered with graffiti.
Wow. I can see it. It's like a visual representation of Hyde's stream of consciousness.
Exactly. They're mirroring the music, those layered beats, the rhythms, even the lyrics, which can be a bit hard to decipher at times.
It's all about creating a mood, an atmosphere.
And leaving space for the listener to find their own meaning.
I love that. It's not an album that tells you what to think. It invites you to experience it on your own terms.
That's what makes it so engaging. You're not just a passive listener. You're an active participant. You bring your own experiences, your own interpretations to the table.
It's a two-way street.
Totally. And that's rare. It's what makes Dubnobasswithmyheadman such a powerful listening experience.
Speaking of experiences, we can't talk about Underworld without talking about their live shows. I've heard stories.
Oh man, seeing Underworld live it's an event.
Not just a concert, right. It's an experience.
They use lights, projections, even their own movements on stage to create this immersive world. It's like stepping into the album itself.
I read somewhere that they describe it as a communion with the audience.
That's a great way to put it. It's not about being on a stage separated from the crowd. It's about creating this shared energy.
A collective euphoria.
Yes. And they were one of the first electronic acts to really understand that, to use the live experience to connect with their fans on such a deep level.
It's no wonder they went on to score the Olympics. I mean, talk about a massive shared experience.
Right. And they absolutely nailed it. The music they created for the 2012 London Olympics was epic, but also intimate, celebratory and reflective at the same time. It perfectly captured the spirit of the games.
Incredible. It's amazing to think that a band that started out, feeling creatively and financially drained could go on to achieve so much.
It's a testament to their talent, for sure, but also their perseverance. They never gave up on their vision, and it paid off in a big way.
But maybe their biggest accomplishment is the impact they've had on other artists.
Oh, absolutely. Dubnobasswithmyheadman didn't just change Underworld's trajectory. It changed the game for electronic music.
So, what would you say is their most enduring contribution to the genre? What did Dubnobass with My Headman usher into the world? It really makes you think about how something so groundbreaking could come from a place of like real uncertainty. What did Dubnobass with My Headman change for electronic music? What did it bring to the world?
Before this album, electronic music was kind of niche.
Like club music.
Exactly. You wouldn't, put it on your headphones and just listen.
Right, right.
Underworld changed that. They said, no, electronic music can be just as deep, just as emotional as anything else.
And they weren't afraid to like let it breathe, to create these soundscapes, these moods. It's almost like a movie score, but for your soul.
Yes. And that's what's so influential. You can hear it everywhere.
Really? Like where?
Listen to Bonobo, Fortet, even Radiohead, their later stuff.
Hmm.
They took that idea, that cinematic scope, and made it their own.
It's like Underworld showed everyone how to break the rules, but still make you feel something.
Exactly. And they never lost that human touch. Even with all the tech, the samples, it still feels warm,
Yeah.
real.
It's honest. And that's what people connect with. Even now, when everything's so overproduced, so perfect, Dubnobas with My Headman is like a breath of fresh air.
And that goes back to their whole ethos.
Yeah.
They didn't play by the rules, they did what felt right.
Because the best art comes from that place, right? That place of like, this is me, take it or leave it.
Exactly. They were true to themselves, and it resonated. It's a powerful reminder that it's okay to be different, to forge your own path, even when it feels scary.
Because those are the voices that matter, the ones that change things.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Underworld reminded us to push boundaries, to experiment, to embrace the unknown, and that's a legacy that's going to last.
So as we come up for air from this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from Dubnobass with My Headman?
That even when things feel uncertain, even when you're facing obstacles, something incredible can emerge.
Wow.
This album, it's proof that you should never give up on your vision. Keep going, keep creating, keep pushing.
Beautifully said. And on that note, I think I need to go blast Skyscraper, I Love You, and soak it all in. Until next time, keep exploring those depths.